better, stronger together. So I'm so glad to be here at the TEACON 2023 facilitating artificial intelligence, more or so for communication. My name is Joanne Bessia. I can say I have learned, at least I've taken time to learn and understand artificial intelligence and its application in businesses, its application in education and diverse industries in mostly Africa. And we're going to have a great session of panelists. I'd like to welcome them to the stage. We have Mr. Suresh Kumar. Kindly join us at the stage. Please clap for him. We have Ms. Kathy Coit. Please clap for her, a wonderful woman. And then we have Mr. Terence Were. Mr. Terence Were, please join us at the seats. So glad to have you. You'll be fine. Yes, please. Thank you. Just give me a moment. I'd like to test one more thing. So ladies and gentlemen, before I begin, I'd like to play a short video so that we can have an overview. I know we are knowledgeable people, right? So what we're going to do, how the session is going to run, number one, we are going to interact with this wonderful panel through a question and answer session through myself, and then they will be given an opportunity to demonstrate how artificial intelligence would work. And then finally, they will leave us with one word or two in regards to artificial intelligence that has impacted them. And then at the end of the session, this is the time where if you had any questions and any comments, just put them down. I'm going to give the audience an opportunity to engage with the panelists that are right in front of us. All right? That is understandable? So I'll ask the media team if we have a video, we go ahead and play. Is it okay? Have it for me? Okay. Let me play from my laptop. Does not have sound. Switched it off.
Artificial intelligence, or AI for short, is a branch of computer science. It deals with the stimulation of intelligent behavior in computers. AI is a suite of technologies where machines automatically learn and adapt to a specific environment. Artificial intelligence is playing a major role in industry, businesses, society, and even in our everyday lives. From deep learning to natural language processing, we interact with AI in one way or another on a daily. Everyone is talking about artificial intelligence today. But what is it? How and when is it going to have an impact in our lives? Artificial intelligence, or AI for short, is a branch of computer science. It deals with the stimulation of intelligent behavior in computers. AI is a suite of technologies where machines automatically learn and adapt to a specific environment. Artificial intelligence is playing a major role in industry, businesses, society, and even in our everyday lives. From deep learning to natural language processing, we interact with AI in one way or another on a daily basis, sometimes without realizing we are doing it. Robots can now take on many of the most repetitive jobs performed by humans with more accuracy and much faster. But robots are not the only ones with embedded AI. AI will let humans switch to more skillful and better jobs. It only requires some training in new skills. But isn't life a constant learning process after all? Humans will be able to work less hours, having more free time to enjoy life, family, hobbies, and friends. Consumer examples of AI today: Amazon's Alexa and Samsung's Bixby, responding to voice command. Netflix, recommending programs based on the user's viewing history and preferences. Business examples of AI today: virtual assistants for responsive customer service, machine learning algorithms for better analysis of business performance, smart robotics for more efficient supply chains. Today, these simple and early examples of AI belong to what we now call narrow AI. Narrow AI are systems designed by humans to carry out specific tasks. In the future, data growth, greater computational power, 5G networks, increasingly mature cloud platforms, and more sophisticated software will move AI to the next level. General AI, but not so fast. Before we get there, there are challenges to overcome. Concerns over data, system bias, and security top the list. For 54% of business leaders, the primary aim of deploying AI is to free staff for higher value work. 65% of business leaders today are considering or piloting AI projects. It will take 3 to 5 years for those AI projects to become a reality. It means there is enough time to learn new skills and be ready for 2024. The global AI market is forecast to reach a valuation of over $3 trillion by 2024. But before that happens, there is plenty we have to learn before we can co-live and co-work with AI.
So in my view, AI is a very dangerous, or it's a useful tool or a dangerous tool depending upon how you're going to use it. Well, 50 years back when the computers were introduced, this is what people thought, but then we are over here still using computers efficiently, and I'm sure 50 years hence, we'll still be using artificial intelligence quite efficiently. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was profound. I love the fact that you made us aware our mobile phones know more than we know ourselves. I don't know if you noticed that, because sometimes back, I was being asked by a friend of mine, how do these people of the internet know more than I know? How did they get this information? Please know that all the information, when you asked for login details, when you put your name, when you put your email address, when you put in your phone number, you have given a lot of information to the internet, and that is how it comes to know about you. And that is, I think, what Mr. Suresh is articulating, that the mobile phone knows more than what we are. And speaking about a lot of information, that brings the topic of data. Our data expert, Mr. Terence Were, please tell us more about data and its connection to artificial intelligence, according to your experience, and also what it means today to either the gadgets that we use or the mobile phones, more specific.
Thank you, Moderator Joan. It's an honor to be here among you this morning for the TEACON 2023. Whenever I talk about AI, I think of very simple things. For instance, as has been mentioned before, the phone. Anytime, for those who have the face unlock, anytime you go to unlock your phone, it has to recognize your face. That is a machine exhibiting a feature that is human-like, because it has to compare several images to get your actual facial expression. Then to the next level, when you log into your social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, or any other, the suggestions you get are based on things you've done before. You may think, for instance, there are times when you sit down and think or talk about something you would like to try. You could be talking about a movie that you've just heard from a friend. Then the next time you log into your Netflix, you see it as the suggestions, among the suggestions. That is data at work. The companies behind that have probably collected data on you about the things that you've talked about, the things you've searched on the internet, and they're able to now bring it back to you in form of suggestions. And apart from that, now when you go and take actions online, could it be you liking other people's statuses or doing something or performing an action or sharing your images or your videos, for instance, for this event? The hashtag today is TEACON 2023. Better, stronger together. Don't forget to use that hashtag. The moment you do that, you'll see more suggestions. You'll see the people in this room, people who are following the same, or who are in the same mindset. You'll be able to get that. And all that comes from the data that is collected from the actions that you take and the interactions that you have with different machines. I remember when I was in campus, that was back in around 2012. That's the first time I was hearing so much about AI. Back then we were asking ourselves if a fridge will one day be able to know that your milk is running low and that you need to order the milk from a certain supermarket. What are the opportunities that we stand to gain as marketers? That was my perspective back then. Right now, a lot has happened, and that is just the tip of the iceberg. Right now, you can see vehicles that can drive themselves by learning the behavior of other road users, being able to predict the actions and the behavior that we are going to exhibit when we are on the road with it. And you've seen even a whole vehicle driving itself and being stopped by a police and continuing on to stop and behaving like a human being. That is AI, and that is the future we are likely to see. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Terence. And that's a phenomenal experience, because right now, I don't know about Dar es Salaam, but Kenya, that is yet to happen. But I can assure you, in the next 2 or 3 years, and I don't know what you and I are going to do, when we have vehicles driving themselves? I don't know, but just by a show of hands, would you enter a vehicle when you're not a driver? Just a show of hands. Truth be told, oh, countable though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you would. I don't know about that, Terence. And it's something that we are yet to see, but that is the power of artificial intelligence. And I'd like to go back to Mr. Suresh, right? Just tell me, let me quote something for you. Because I know we're discussing this back and forth, and I know the technologies we're talking about, artificial intelligence, is very exciting, and at this particular level, we basically understand what artificial intelligence is, and all of us are using it in one way or the other. But tell me about this. Technology is a useful servant, but a dangerous master. Please comment about that.
Absolutely. Technology is definitely a very useful servant, because if you're able to use it efficiently to get it do what you want, it's definitely a good servant. But if you're not able to use it properly, it can definitely be a monster unleashed. In the sense, can you imagine now, today you have robotic software which is able to think, predict, analyze much faster than anybody can. Can you imagine the future in terms of, let's take a simple thing like an actuarial science. Actuarial science is one of the most difficult subjects of all the subjects, and that's the reason, you have the number of qualified actuaries in the world are hardly few, possibly run into just a few thousands. But with artificial intelligence, the role of an actuary can totally be replaced. Artificial intelligence can really do calculations much, much faster than anybody can do. It can give you the predictive models way ahead of it. Now, if you're not able to use it properly, can you imagine a situation? In fact, I was reading about a particular artificial intelligence system which can, suppose if you are watching they had given a scenario wherein a person was asked to watch a picture of a giraffe, and they had implanted on his head to find out as to what exactly. From the image which has been there, they are able to reflect back almost an accurate image of a giraffe. That means they are able to read into your mind. That was the final frontier. That was the only space we had for ourselves, which we could have called it independent, wherein whatever I am thinking, none of you know. But the luxury is no longer there.
Yeah.
Now, can you imagine the situation wherein, if this can be used by a dictator or someone else to really enslave everybody to their own thoughts? So it's a very, very dangerous situation if we are not able to control the current growth of AI.
Yes, Mr. Suresh, and that is interesting. Even before you give away the mic, that triggered a question that I've been asking myself. I don't know, is this the technology for Elon Musk? The one that he's developing in a way that if you're seated there and just project what you're thinking on the screen, shows exactly what is happening? Is that what Elon Musk is?
It's a very similar one, yes.
It's a similar one. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. And I believe that artificial intelligence can be a monster, as well articulated by Mr. Suresh, if you do not know how to control it. And I'm so curious, I want to know from Kathy, who has been in IT since the 1969. I'm not going to give her my age, but trust me, I don't think I knew I was coming to this world. Kathy, in your experience and engagement, and I know you have seen from how it has been and how scary it was through generations up to today, I'm so curious from you, how has the emergence of technology been, for example, a scare? Just in the same quote, how has the emergence of technology been a monster, possibly? Has it been a monster to you or an opportunity, based on what you know?
Okay, thank you. How has technology, well, the opportunities for technology have been amazing for me and for anybody. But I want to just, if I may, turn this around slightly and talk about how we're so scared that AI is going to change us. I remember the time when we said we would all end up with paperless offices. I don't know about anybody else's office, but mine now has more paper in it, I think, than before. And I have all of the sheets look exactly the same, and they've all got writing on them, and I can't tell what is what. Whereas in the old-fashioned paperwork days, we used to have green files and blue files and pink files, and now we don't have that color coordination on these sheets of paper that the printer turns out. So I'm a little wary of being worried about where the future is going, because I remember, well, I don't remember, but my parents can tell me about the time when they said that if you drove over 35 miles an hour on a train, we were all going to die. And that certainly hasn't happened going to space. So I'm going to be the thorn in the side on this one and say, yeah, AI could kill us, but AI may not. And I really feel, from my point of view, that technology has helped us a lot, but we still have to do very much the same thing. That we all still have to work. I'm worried, they said that just by having online, we would all not have to go to work again. They said that the computers would take all of our jobs away, and they've created more. So I'm going to put that one back to you. Though if I may just have one final word about the not driverless cars. At least the AI has not been to the pub for four beers before it gets in the car. I think an AI driver might be a lot safer than many.
But Kathy, just to be honest and honest with the audience, would you drive a car that has
Yes.
no driver?
Yes,
Would you?
I think it's a lot safer than most of the drivers I've been with, particularly in my chosen home country at the moment. Sorry, Kenyans.
I don't know if I should agree with you or not, but I'll leave it to the audience to think about that. And I want to jump right to Terence, and I know he's funny because we know about data right now. They call it the oil
Yes.
of tomorrow.
Yes.
Is that correct? Comment
Yes.
about that statement.
Yes, and even as I do that, I am here at this conference mainly because of Udly. I know most of you have heard about Udly. In that same discussion about AI, Udly is an AI-powered speech coach. You can consider it your backup or your coach, the assistant coach, where you share or you have your first draft of your speech. Hello? It's back. Thank you. Udly would be considered your backup speech coach. It's like having two coaches in a club or in a normal Toastmasters setting. For those who are non-Toastmasters, we normally have mentors. Now imagine as a Toastmaster being able to share with your mentor several versions of your speech before receiving any evaluation on that. That's the opportunity that we get with Udly. And apart from that, you are also able to learn to speak fluently. You'll notice most of the people who have spoken up here were really careful or cognizant of their pauses, necessary or unnecessary, and also just being able to practice and perfect their art. Now, when I come back to data, Udly also assists you to collect the data on your speech. You're able to have a transcript of your speech, and from there you can pick out the strong words. For instance, in such an occasion, the main theme would be better, stronger, together. Udly will have a transcript, and you'll see how many times the words better, stronger, together have been used by different speakers, and if you're just doing it for yourself, you're able to analyze the participation and the outcome of this session. Apart from that, you're also able to get a sense, or you are able to Now, such things like that, they are necessary pauses. All of them are recorded, and you get the analytics. Over and above that, you move now to the level where you test yourself on the different areas or the different aspects of your speech structure and delivery. Thank you. Back to you, Joan.
Thank you, Terence. And I love the fact that you brought about Udly. And this could be a pink elephant in the room because we are Toastmasters. We communicate every day. We seek our mentees or our mentors information on how we are making a speech. But now we have artificial intelligence to do that and complement our mentors. I'm going to get right back to you on Udly. I want us to talk about the biggest pink elephant in the room. And I know, and I'm very sure I can read the guilty faces on in this particular audience, ChatGPT. Who has not used ChatGPT to write an email? Who has not used ChatGPT to write a proposal? This is something that's in the mainstream that is working right now in tremendous ways. And the beautiful part is that we have Mr. Suresh to break it down and tell us how that is related to what we do right now, mostly communication. Over to you, Mr. Suresh.
Thank you. One of the objectives of communication is to persuade people.
Right.
And we have to persuade people, whether in our family, organizations, society, friends. We constantly persuade people because we need to make them understand as to where we want them to go, what we want them to do as we want to do. And the power of persuasion or the communication can come only because when you have the knowledge, the skill, and the ability to speak well. In the past, the knowledge and skill used to come from either with learning or interacting with people or going to referring books. Obviously, the days when you had to refer to something, you had to go to a physical library, search for an encyclopedia, take out the information. All that changed when the World Wide Web came, wherein information was available instantly. And that availability of the instant information was possible through search engines. And all of us are aware of Google. Everybody says, isn't it? Whatever you want to do it, search it on the Google. Google virtually knows everything as to it's able to search the entire web hundreds of millions of billions of pages and give you the right information. This is all right till last year. Late last year, what Google used to do was Google used to give you the websites wherein you can go and search for the relevant information. Last year, and Google, of course, obviously was omnipotent. They made billions of dollars because they were able to monetize it well. And I don't think even Google saw it coming when ChatGPT came in late last year. And what did ChatGPT do? Very much what search engine Google does. But instead of giving you a list of websites, it gives you the entire text as to what you want. So if you want to write a CV for a particular job, you put in the job description, you put in your skills, and you ask the ChatGPT to do a CV for you. There you have a CV, which you just go, correct it, and send it off to your employer. You want to do your classwork? ChatGPT is there. You want to write a creative poem? ChatGPT is there. You want to do something, if you're a programmer, you have a bug in the code, ChatGPT is there. I mean, the way ChatGPT has grown, just as an information, in November 2022, when ChatGPT was launched, it was launched in November 2022. In December, it had 266 million people using it on a monthly visitors. January, it went to 1 billion. February, 1.8. March, 2.5. April, 3.2. May, 3.9 billion people visited the website for ChatGPT.
Wow.
Now, Google really felt that they are being sort of a sidetracked, so they brought in their own ChatGPT version called Bard. And Microsoft also upgraded their Bing to resemble what is ChatGPT. The only challenge with all these things, because this is a learning tool, it learns from our own conversations, our own things, and it is able to give out things to you in a much, much better, with a much more clarity, with less grammatical errors, in much more concise way if you want to. So if you want to do a next Toastmasters speech, you don't have to really spend time researching it. Just go and put it, this is the objective, this is what I want to do. Lo and behold, thank God it cannot come and deliver it on your behalf, at least not yet.
Mr. Suresh, that's phenomenal, and that's quite interesting because then that leads me to this question, and allow me to ask this to Kathy before we play her video. Yes, I'm going to play that immediately after this, just in 1 minute. Do you think ChatGPT is rendering our skills irrelevant?
I'm sorry,
Just in 30 seconds.
is chat GPT?
Yes, based on that, the fact that we can write our own speeches and, get a lot of information from it. Do you think it's rendering our skills irrelevant?
I've always had bad skills, so I think it's lovely. Let's be honest, I failed my English language I don't know how many times, so I think it's lovely that I can actually write. It can do it for me. So and I know I'm getting messages here because I'm an SAA going wind up.
No, thank you.
Unfortunately.
No, thank you, Kathy, for that. And I really want us to go straight to your video, if you don't mind.
Yeah, because it's a beautiful way of summing up what's been happening.
I know. Is that
Yeah.
okay if we go
Yeah,
ahead
please.
and play it? Okay, there's a video that Kathy wanted me to play. In just 1 minute. I hope that it's basically summing up what Kathy's vision, or rather information about, let me see if I can control that. Is there a way to control that? Room up to now. That's the video actually. Just No, it's okay. Kathy will share it. It's not a problem, if that's okay. All right, so as we wind up, because of the time factor, I'd like to still go back to Kathy. For this audience, if they are to leave with anything at all, for everything that we have discussed, what will be your last word to them? Positive, negative, anxiety, not?
Okay.
What would be your opinion about artificial intelligence to the audience today?
My future wish is that whoever's doing the intelligence on the text predicting on my WhatsApp messages, could you please not mistype them quite as often as they do at the moment? I was trying to think of a good example, but it's probably rude. I was trying to tell somebody I was shooting something, but it had an I instead of an O, and it didn't come out too well. So that's what I just want. Could the text prediction be a little bit more what I'm thinking rather than what I'm typing? Thank you.
Is that come on, let's give her a clap. That makes sense, and that's more realistic. Thank you, Kathy, for that. Mr. Suresh, about ChatGPT, and I know you have a lot of information about that. We are all using it. I'm using it, all right? And we are going to use a lot of it. What is your message to the audience today in regards of its usage, its opportunity, and possibly its overuse?
Is there a choice? There's no choice. I think, we have to accept that the technology is here. If you don't use it, you become redundant. So my suggestion would be that, I would continue to use it to my benefit, but at the same time, I wouldn't let my reasoning take over that. I would use it as a reference tool. I will use it to create something which for me, but then I would still add my own creativity to that so that it becomes a tool for me to use which eases up my time rather than it making me dependent on it.
Absolutely. Please let's give Mr. Suresh a clap on that. Use it as a reference, use it to complement it, but never use to abuse it. Thank you so much, Mr. Suresh. Terence Were, please let the audience know about the knowledge that you have in Udly, and I'm sure everyone is so curious about its usage. And by the way, after this meeting, Mr. Terence is able to demonstrate how Udly works. I believe he's going to communicate where he's going to be after this session for anyone who has a question on that. Mr. Terence, your last words regards to Udly, regards to artificial intelligence, and what you want the audience to live with today.
Thank you. Most of us are faced with a challenge every other day. Sometimes it's as simple as getting suggestions, not even the solution, but getting suggestions.
Right.
Udly is here to complement our mentors and help us get the feedback immediately. I encourage you to take a moment, try it. I've not had a chance to demonstrate, but I'll be outside there. I'll set up at one of the stations so that you can come and test it for yourself. So I welcome you to try it and use it and make the best out of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Please let's give a clap to Mr. Terence. Remember, if you want to know about artificial intelligence, ask questions. Make it your partner, not a tool that works for you, but work with it. And finally, ask the right questions and give it suggestions as you continue complementing and also learning about artificial intelligence. It has been a wonderful session. Please, audience, let's give our panelists the last clap. Thank you very much, Kathy. I appreciate your feedback. Mr. Suresh, that was wonderful. Mr. Terence Were, absolutely amazing skills in artificial intelligence, more so Udly. So I want us to open up at least 3 minutes for 3 questions from the audience regarding artificial intelligence, and allow me to stand on this so that I'm able to manage the panel, the question session. So I've seen the first question. I had the first question. Sorry. Yes, just 3 minutes and then we Yes, please. I can see a hand from behind there. Yes, sir. Please ask your question, and then tell us. Do you have a microphone? And also tell us to which panelist you'd like the question to be answered by. Thank you. Yes. Please go ahead. Yes, sir. The man in glasses. Right. Tell us your name. Yes. Please go ahead. No, don't sit.
Okay.
Yes.
My name is Dennis B.
Right.
I'm an engineer by profession, and I'm also a business innovation expert. So what I wanted to ask Madam, she's seated on the right. I didn't get her name, but you are not loud enough.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I actually heard your story, and it's very, very interesting. One question I wanted to ask, how were you able to really change or to adapt from the old technology until today you are able to speak about AI, yet from 19-something to this time when you've been practicing IT and doing what you do, how are you able to really adapt? Because
yes, I hear you.
in my field of experience, because like I told you, I'm an innovation expert, when we try to explain to the people of your age about AI, about computing, it's very difficult actually. It's like you are trying to feed a chicken from the back.
I can hear you, but I was involved in computers right from the start, so it's changed very gradually. And I'll have to say one thing, you have to be flexible.
Yeah.
Some people can do it, some people can't. And I think it depends on the personality rather than the age.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just my second and last question. Thank you so much. So you're saying you're actually trying to bend back and trying to really do a lot of reading or something like this? Correct. Now, my next question is to Mr. Suresh. Just my last question. I don't want to take a lot of time. You've talked about two things. Your last comment was about reasoning and not AI. You try to use reasoning and not AI. As we all know that by 2050, 75% of the jobs that are being done by humans now will have been taken by AI. So, if you're talking about reasoning, I would think, or I would put it to you that basically, you may have to, the current population have to look for something else to do other than what they are doing now. Do you agree or not agree?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at even 200 years back when the machine started, there were a lot of jobs out of gone. But we are still alive. 50 years back when the computers came, this is what everybody thought. There will be jobs gone and things like that. Yet we are all here. 50 years down the line in 2050, which is only 25 years, 27 years ago, it will be the same thing because the human being's tenacity is much higher. Our resilience is much higher. We'll definitely adopt ourselves to the new requirements and the new calling will be there. Things will go on, nothing to worry.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Just my last comment would be,
allow me, sir, to give other people chances. So because
thank
we
you
had
very
another
much.
speaker,
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. The gentleman inspects, and then one more question so that we can give time. Right.
Yes, absolutely.
And then one more from this side as well. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Once again, good afternoon, everyone. And I would like to actually thank the panelists and the moderator for this session as well. This is very important, especially the AI and all. So my name is Jonas. I am from Ethiopia, current president for the Blue Nile Toastmasters International there. I think, well, my question also relates with Dr. Kathy, but I don't think she's here. But regardless, with the emerging AI currently, I think there's a lot of growing fear with the human as well. Of course, to some, briefly you've mentioned it. I mean, first I wanted to mention there's a job loss, and then with the job loss obviously comes with the economic disruption, and then a criminal activity at the same time. I am a communication individual, and I work as a research as well. To work on a simple research article, it will take me like 3 days. But as you mentioned with ChatGPT and other platforms, it will take like what? Just 1 or 2 minutes for that matter, honestly. So this raises a question, which is, if somebody writes this research, or it could be any speech, what about the credibility as well? So where's the trust in that? And then the second thing as well, I feel like we're losing ourselves. And then the moderator mentioned the mobile knows more than we know ourselves. From time to time, I surfed on TikTok, and then this videos that I don't even know that I like, they come to me, and I was thinking, how is this possible? And then you mentioned, Dr. Suresh, we need to use them properly, but I think they're already there. So what do you mean by properly? I wanted you to define it, actually. I know technology is helping us a lot. We came this far through technology and the AI, but the job loss is real. So I think in terms of mitigation, if there's any advice that you could give us, and then maybe what is your prediction? Where is this going as well? So that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that question. Allow me to direct this to Mr. Terence Were. I hope you've understood the question. The first is, what trust do we have right now on the technology in artificial intelligence? And the other questions he's asked.
Thank you. I will address the first one of the part of trust. There is an AI tool whose name I can't remember that I used to do a research, and it was able to outline all the sources under the footnotes and all that. I think I will share it in the groups so that we are able to use, for research purposes, we are able to use those AI tools that are recommended for those fields, right? So that even when you use AI, you are able to give or to follow due process. Because any research that you do, you need to reference the sources. I remember when doing my project in Toastmasters, I had to mention sources. And I have used that same procedure even when giving feedback. Whenever I quote someone, I must quote, or whenever I use a quote, I must give credit to the person who wrote it. And there's that AI tool that enables you to not only get the sources, but also to reference them in the format that is required. The second question, can you just repeat it, please?
Was about job losses. Should they be worried?
This has been said several times, and I also believe it. I should not be worried about job losses. First, I'll tell you, as I have moved from marketing, now I am a data analyst. Marketing is still very wide. There are so many opportunities, but I believe data science and data is the big future of this world. You can imagine what those people back in the day used to say, that when we get machines, all the farmers will now have to, all those labor workers or laborers will have to move away. Yes, it happened to some extent, but now there are new jobs being created, and the new jobs created are even more, they are much, I can say they are more in terms of numbers. You can imagine for instance, for each vehicle that you talk about being manufactured to run on its own, there's a whole chain behind that, and it's all job creation. To maintain those systems, because they are not going to be, in as much as it's AI, it's going to still rely on the same energy sources. There's that whole supply chain behind it. So in my opinion, I believe AI is here to complement humanity. It's not here to compete with humanity. Because at the end of the day, all of it leads to convenience and making the lives of human beings better. So thank you.
Thank you, Terence. I hope he has answered. Just for the next 2 minutes, as we wrap this session, we had one last question. Over to you, sir. All right. So we've been told that we cannot ask questions. However, allow me just to mention this, that in our forums, Mr. Terence, Mr. Suresh, and also Kathy are within the forums. If you have any further questions, please put it there, and they're able to answer. Unfortunately, sir, we are not able to continue with that. If you don't mind, kindly let us put that in the forum. Apologies about that. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. I would leave you with one word. Artificial intelligence is not going to replace you. But artificial intelligence, the people who know artificial intelligence are the people who are going to replace you. So think about that, think about the skills that you ought to learn this year, and think about artificial intelligence. It was a pleasure to speak to you.